Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about spiritual warfare. I have another channel on which I speak about astrology and a Facebook page with prophetic writings, which you find in the description box below. The usual caveat, there are individuals who are impersonating me, stealing my identity, double gangers, copycats, criminals basically, conducting fraudulent and criminal activity which is being under investigation, and the 3D justice system is working on making justice while they are under judgment and punishment from God. Okay, now in this video, God has guided me to go back on a topic about which I have spoken before, but it seems like God needs this message to be conveyed in a different way, because these people who are working with darkness keep misinterpreting the information in such a way so it will benefit their evil goals. So now what happens? There are souls from divine realm incarnated in human form. Yeah. What happens when you get into 3D? Of course, it's a matter of spiritual fighting, of survival mode, of conscious spiritual fighting, and so on. Throughout this, you make choices. Yeah. A human incarnation pertains of. I want to be very clear in this video because I'm fed up of explaining this topic and they distorting the truth. So in human incarnation, a human incarnation pertains of a human body, which is just flesh, yeah, and the soul incarnation, which brings with it from the divine realm an identity, an essence, which all is determined by the soul embodiment into that incarnation. This basically creates the aura, your energy body, your identity, who you are, determines your essence, and stuff like this, yeah? Okay, now, basically, based on the choices you make throughout your life, you keep your soul, your essence, and your identity, successfully breaking bondage created upon you. We're not talking how you break that bondage. There are many different ways to break that bondage. Now we're talking only about the fundamental issues. Or you make bad choices. If you make bad choices, darkness takes power over your incarnation, affecting your human body, affecting your energy. Hence, if you insist on this path, on making wrong choices, you will reach the point when you lose your soul. There are many people soulless because they lost their soul. Yeah. Now, of course, we can debate this. Many of them say it was darkness work against me, they did this to me, I'm not guilty, so and so. Yeah, but God works with you throughout time, and God is always willing to send a soul embodiment into a human to help that human elevate. But now it's a matter of your choices. If you continue to do bad choices, to make bad choices, and then continue to take upon yourself darkness, which literally leads to you losing that soul again. If you lose that soul, it means that there is an increased gradual dissociation between your human body, which is just a vessel, yeah, and the soul, the identity, the essence, the energy body. And as this dissociation increases, and the gap between the two dimensions, the human body and the soul and energy body, the gap between these two increases, you ultimately again lose the soul. Okay? So God has been showing me constantly individuals who keep making bad choices and then pray to God or different deities to help them. People need to understand nobody can help you if you make bad choices. If you choose to fight a war against God, God cannot help you. I have seen in my spiritual fighting individuals who actually aim to replace God. They aim to be God. You fight against God, and then you expect to keep the soul which God created and gave it to you for embodiment in human incarnation. It is not possible. Even if God wants, sometimes I'm frustrated with God as well, because I keep saying you keep giving them chances and they keep attacking us. You need to stop giving them chances at some point. You finally need to make a decision, because we cannot keep going like this. We don't get anywhere. But God is more than generous with all these creeps, and they need to understand God will send you a soul and an identity. But if you are capable of maintaining that, it's only up to you if you make the right choice. You cannot fucking fight against God, want to dethrone God, and to take control of humankind, to just destroy the humankind. And then when actually karma comes to you and you start feeling the consequences of losing your soul, and you start feeling illness in your physical body simply because you, by your choices, created the disconnectedness with the soul and energy body, it is your fucking choice, your fucking fault. Understand, nobody can help you. Now, what these creeps do, they continue to make bad choices. Many of them get to the point of craziness where they think they can replace God. Not understanding or not accepting the idea that once you turn against God, you lose the embodiment, you lose the soul, you lose the energy body. You remain just a physical body vessel for darkness to work through you. If you want God to work through you, keep the fucking soul. If you want to keep the fucking soul, fucking make good decisions. You know what are the good decisions. You fully know what are the good decisions, because you have working tirelessly to create strategies to destroy those of us who keep making right decisions. So you know exactly what are the right decisions. You just are stubborn and don't want to make the right decision. You keep thinking that you can trick God and you can keep exploiting all of us. These creeps are making poor decisions. They at some point evolve into these criminal organizations to that extent that they figure they can actually replace God. And they say, I lost my soul, but that's okay. I will bind myself to a light worker, feed on his or her soul, and continue to exist in this human body, which I myself deprived from a soul and energy body because of the stupid choices I make. Listen, if you keep doing this, you're just going to destroy the light worker to which you're binding yourself to. And you're still not going to succeed anything. Because that individual is going to lose his soul as well. And now you get more karma, because you not only destroyed yourself, but you destroyed other people as well who actually were making the right choices. But you decided that you don't want to make the right choices, and you want to, by force, you want to impose this stupid idea of yours of rebellion against God upon to others, to feed on somebody else's soul, to feed on somebody else's energy. This is not fucking working. You need to understand. There is no fucking way you do this. There actually, and this goes back to another video I made about betrayals. There are people actually, and I warn everybody who stands in light, there will be people from your own lineage, I have personal experience with this, who actually embrace this crazy idea whereby they use the fact that you're part of the same lineage, yeah, your soulmate, and they bind themselves to you because they lost their soul, and because they are refusing to do the redemption and the healing to gain back the fucking soul, yeah, and they figure, okay, I'm gonna feed on my soulmate now, let me bind myself to a few light workers from my lineage, feed on them, and continue to be a creep working with darkness. This is not working. And I'm here to say to all light workers, cut them off. Cut them off. Because at the point when they lose the soul, guess what? They are not your soulmates anymore. They're just a human vessel. And this is something that, first of all, the light workers must understand. And hopefully, at some point, these imbeciles who keep doing this will understand. When they lose their soul, they are not your soulmates anymore. It's pretty logic. They don't have a soul, they are not your soulmate. The soul goes back to God. What God does with that soul, God will try to help this individual to redeem. If he refuses constantly, God will find, guess what? A new individual, a new generation, somebody else who wants to carry out that spiritual fighting next to God, together with God, upholding God. Do you understand? They claim, so God will send that soul back to you. Don't cling to the idea this person is my soulmate. That person is your soulmate only to the extent to which that person retains the soul and does work with God. When that person becomes an enemy of God and works constantly with darkness, he loses that soul. He's not your soulmate anymore. Basically, he's just a vessel for darkness. And you are not supposed to allow them to feed on you, on your essence, on your energy, and on your soul. You're not supposed to let them bind themselves to you and drag them with you, because they will keep you at a lower level dimension simply because darkness cannot elevate. God will be forced to not elevate you if you accept to let them bind themselves to you and use you, simply because darkness cannot elevate. You need to transmute that darkness from your physical body through spiritual work. You need to stay in light and do spiritual work and right choices if you want to elevate and to get back to God. That's all. Again, God will send that soul in a different embodiment. Another man or another woman will come to you carrying that embodiment. It's simply like this. It's not even, this is the way things are. It really doesn't matter how much you pray. If you don't make the right choices, it really doesn't help you. Because God, I've seen this, God will give souls to some individuals, and in a matter of minutes, they will lose that soul. A matter of minutes, not even a full hour. As soon as they get the soul, immediately they go back and make some sort of arrangements with other convents, with other darkness, invoking, summoning, doing again the same shit. Now, if God gave you another choice, why the fuck you're doing the same shit? It's beyond me. It's beyond me. Now, what I want everybody to understand, these are the way things work. You cannot work both with darkness and keep your identity from divine realm. You just can't. It's because they reject each other. Simply like this. So even if God decides to help you, and I will say this, which is sometimes to the expense, to our expense, because God is helping these creeps and they take that power to harm us more instead of making the right choice. So even when God decides to help these individuals, they refuse the help. Because guess what? They want to be God. What the fuck you mean? Do you understand the craziness? Now, the difference that these creeps must understand is that you feed on others. You cannot be God as long as you do this. Because guess what? What's the distinction between this kind of behavior and God? God is creating others. God is feeding light into others, into light workers. God is sending healing. He's not binding himself to us to get healing. Do you see the distinction? Do you understand how come you cannot be God? You just cannot be God. And as long as we keep our essence and our soul, you cannot trick us into stealing our souls, binding yourself to us in order so you can feed on us. And please think the long term. Let's imagine, which is not possible, but let's imagine for a second that you succeed to fool everyone in 3D on Earth. Everyone. You bind yourself to everyone. Now you will feed on everyone. How long do you think this is going to last? Because they will go through the same process as you, namely losing their souls and their essence. So how long do you think this is going to last? Even if you succeed, this stupid strategy of yours, who you imbecile, who you think of yourself as leader, what the fuck kind of leader are you if you're not capable to think the long term and to understand? Look at you in the mirror, what you done to yourself with your stupid choices. You destroyed yourself. You brought darkness onto you. And you got to the point where your physical vessel is sick, ill, and you're facing death. Okay, bind yourself to everyone on earth. What the fuck you think is going to happen to them? The same shit. Look in the mirror. The same shit. So what will happen next? I said in previous videos, humankind will be discarded from this earth, from this planet. It is not a matter of choice. It is a matter of how light and dark work. Do you understand? You cannot take a dark force from hell and put it in the divine realm to sit on the council next to God to make decisions. Cannot. It rejects, it dies. It dies in pain. Do you understand me? It dies in pain because it's a dark force. It cannot stay in light. Okay? It's quite the same, the opposite. You cannot take a soul from light, from divine realm, and force it to stay in darkness. It will not die, but it will be taken by God because it cannot stay there. It cannot stay. It's a physical issue. Do you fucking remember any time in your life that you felt huge, tremendous pain on soul level? Well, that was when basically the disconnect between your soul and your physical body started. That's something that God cannot control. If you keep making bad choices, God cannot help you. You must understand this. Because they are distorting. This message is only because I said all of this. But God keeps showing me these individuals just distort the truth, the reality, and they use fake claims on certain identities. They claim to be from the divine realm and to have rights to feed on others. You are not from the divine realm if you don't have a soul embodiment. You are not from the divine realm if you work against the divine realm. And you cannot make claims to feed on others and go against their free will, because this is not what the divine realm does. You can make this choice to feed on others, but understand that when you make this choice, you end your identity and you move into darkness by your free will choice. Or I don't know if it's a free will, but it's your choice. Okay? Now, again, everyone who has been under attack from darkness has been experiencing forceful breach of their boundaries, and individuals who try to force different choices on them, breaking their free will choices. We all have been through that. But if you make your free choices to stay with God and you pray to God, God will help you to preserve the soul and to advance. I keep saying this. If you do healing on yourself and you make good choices and you fucking do redemption, do you understand? You need to do redemption. You cannot jump from darkness straight into being this crazy lunatic leader of the world claiming to be God and to enslave everyone and to stay on that throne by feeding on others. This is not what God does. You are not God. And I state what I said in a previous video. Those of us who stay in light next to God, we will win this. We will win this. You will never be God. You will never be God. You're not even capable of being one of individuals in God's lineage and stay in light. How the fuck you imagine you can be God? You're not capable of preserving and keeping your soul and doing work with light. How the fuck you imagine that you can replace God? And again, I say what I said before. Where the fuck you think this strategy is gonna lead you? What kind of leader you think you are? Who the fuck you think is gonna follow you in this craziness, madness that you create? Nobody. Only the stupid idiots and doppelgangers which you created in order to steal our energy, which in my own language are stupid hoes, sluts, imbeciles. Do you understand? This is the level where you like to stay. You created this on earth. So you created this with darkness. You need to understand this. And you cannot be God while you do this. And God will not allow you to make claims on others and feed on others so you can implement this crazy strategy of yours. God will allow you to make this strategy and to work on it in order to create it, only basically to show to you how stupid you are and where this leads you. God is allowing you to do this only so you can learn the lesson. Unfortunately, I don't understand why you people don't learn the lesson. You people don't learn the lesson, although it's so obvious. Okay, this is a message that God wanted me to upload on my channel for those individuals who repeatedly, endlessly received chances from God. They didn't do their own bondage breaking. Those of us from lineage who stood in light did bondage breaking for the lineage, and instead of them benefiting of that opportunity of us working to transmute darkness which they created, not us, they created, yeah. Instead of them saying, thank you, we are grateful for the help of the lineage, we will now work on ourselves, they decided, oh, it's such good that now I feel a little bit better since stupid individuals from my lineage worked to transmute darkness which I created. Let me now bind myself to them, to feed on them, and let me now imagine that I am God and I take control over the entire lineage and everybody else. Fuck you, man. You're too stupid to live, in my perception. You're only alive because God gave you chances. And the second when you find some relief, you turn against God. Just guess where this is going to lead you.